Back in 2014, The Evil Within took Silent Hill's psychological horror and mixed it with Resident Evil's tense survival gameplay. The result was a game where three detectives are sent to investigate a brutal murder case, only to find themselves facing an entity with the power of a god. It can tear an entire city apart, create monsters at will, and trap anyone inside a world completely under its control. With everything they've got, the three detectives fight to survive while searching for a way to stop this godlike entity. So, grab a coffee, find a comfortable seat, because this is The Evil Within. The game begins with three police officers arriving at Beacon Mental Hospital after reports of a brutal mass murder. The team consists of Joseph Oda, a glasses-wearing detective who honestly looks like the kind of guy who'd rather be reading books than chasing killers. Then there's Julie Kidman, a tough-looking agent who gives off some serious Ada Wong vibes.
Wouldn't make me use this, would you?
And finally, our protagonist, Sebastian Castellanos, a middle-aged detective with a permanently serious face and a tiny mustache. I don't know why that's the first thing I noticed either. As soon as we step into the main lobby of Beacon Hospital, we're greeted by a horrifying sight. Bodies are scattered everywhere like Jason Voorhees just came back from the dead and went on a rampage. One corpse even twitches as we walk past it. Okay, that one's definitely dead. Sebastian looks around and finds a doctor who's somehow still alive.
Are you injured? What happened here?
Can't be real. Impossible. Ruvik is...
As detectives, the first thing we do is check the security cameras. In front of us is this giant computer that looks like it belongs in a NASA control room from the 90s. The footage shows a man in a white robe slaughtering people at a speed that doesn't even seem human. The way this guy moves reminds me of Wesker from Resident Evil 5, just without the sunglasses and the slicked back hair. The figure slowly turns toward the camera, almost as if he knows we're watching him, and then he simply disappears. Sebastian freezes for a second, and then... The man in the white robe is Ruvik, the main villain of the game. Shinji Mikami originally designed Ruvik as a clean-cut psychopath wearing a suit, but his final design ended up looking completely different. Compared to villains like Wesker, at first Ruvik just seems like another insane killer. But the more you learn about him, the harder it becomes to simply call him a psychopath, because his backstory is genuinely tragic. But we'll save that for later. Sebastian wakes up hanging upside down. Standing right in front of him is a massive man with a barbed chain wrapped around his neck. This monster is known as the Sadist. After he walks away, Sebastian manages to grab a nearby knife, cuts himself free, and escapes. Our first thought is to leave through the door on the left, except it's locked.
Locked. Shut.
The game immediately forces us into stealth, because fighting this guy isn't even an option yet. We sneak into his workshop to steal the key. Once we've got it and unlock the door, we climb up to escape. Unfortunately, Sebastian just can't catch a break. He accidentally steps on a tripwire, setting off an alarm that instantly gives away his position to the Sadist. Then things get even worse. He pulls out a chainsaw. And at that point, we already know exactly what kind of monster we're dealing with. It's impossible not to think of Dr. Salvador from Resident Evil 4. We sprint toward the exit, and of course, yeah, Now we're forced to limp away while trying to dodge every trap in our way. Eventually, we lose our footing and fall straight into a sewer filled with blood. After finally escaping the sadist, we end up deep inside the underground sewer. Our leg is still messed up,
Where's the exit?
but we keep pushing forward until we reach a hallway lined with wheelchairs. Eventually, we make it back to the hospital lobby, and somehow, our leg is completely fine again. Unfortunately, things outside are a complete disaster. The entire building is collapsing in flames, and just in time, Sebastian is picked up by his partner Connolly, who's waiting behind the wheel of an ambulance.
Detective! Get in! Get in!
Sebastian sprints through the falling debris and shattered glass. What nobody notices is Ruvik standing on top of the building, silently watching them, before disappearing. Inside the ambulance are Kidman, a patient named Leslie, and Dr. Jimenez.
Hey, where's Joseph? Man, I'm sorry, but you never came out. I waited, but... Please, settle down, Leslie. Settle down, Leslie.
Then the road starts collapsing beneath them. The ground splits apart, and the ambulance tears down the highway at full speed until it reaches a tunnel.
Damn it. Are we cut off from everyone?
Everyone must be dead.
Everyone all right back there?
Just a few bumps, we're fine.
Fine.
We will be once we're far away.
Fine.
A little further and we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be fine. Sebastian wakes up in what looks like a hospital. The walls are cracked with age, and everything is drained of color, almost completely black and white. A lot of horror games have their own visual identity. Silent Hill has its thick fog. Outlast has the green glow of its night vision. The Evil Within uses this washed-out black and white look to tell us that something is seriously wrong with Sebastian.
Hello? Anybody there?
The room itself is almost empty. Just a sink, a toilet, and an iron bed. Honestly, it looks more like a prison cell than a hospital room.
Are we awake?
Is everyone else all right? The city?
Whatever are you talking about? You are the only soul here. Right now.
Right outside the room, we notice strange symbols carved into the walls, though we have no idea what they mean. We keep walking until we reach the main lobby.
A hospital?
This place is necessary for you. You're always welcome here.
I've been hospitalized?
Where the game asks us to sign what looks suspiciously like a contract with the devil. Okay, not really. This is actually the game's save room. But the real mystery here is the nurse, because she's running this entire place completely by herself. Did the hospital lay off literally everyone else?
This way, please.
We're told to sit down in what looks like a perfectly normal chair, with an IV drip waiting right beside it.
You are all right. Please, relax. Please, have a seat.
What the hell?
There now. You see? All better.
Lady, am I going crazy?
Now what makes you say that? I'll be waiting.
Turns out, the whole thing was just a dream. We wake up inside the overturned ambulance and it's on fire. We've got to get out before the whole thing explodes. Okay, it never actually explodes. After climbing out, we find ourselves stranded in the middle of a forest.
Shit. What the hell is going on? Where am I?
Our first priority is finding the rest of the team.
Kidman, where are you?
As we make our way through the woods, we start smashing wooden crates for supplies. At the edge of a cliff, we come across a lantern.
Hey!
Right in front of it, we spot the silhouette of someone washing their face. Around the same time, we also find our first revolver. When we get closer, we realize it's Connolly.
Connolly?
The same partner who was driving the ambulance just a few minutes ago. But it's already too late. He turns into one of the monsters roaming this place, and the very first enemy we kill ends up being our own teammate.
My God, Connolly.
By the way, the enemies in this game aren't actually called zombies. They're known as haunted. They definitely look like zombies at first glance, but there's an important difference. Zombies are usually the result of a virus, a mutation, or a body that's completely lost its normal functions. Haunted are different. Their bodies, and even part of their minds, are still intact. They've just completely lost control of themselves. That's why they're still able to use weapons like torches, axes, and even guns. Some of them are smart enough to take cover, dodge your shots, or shield their heads with their arms to avoid an easy headshot. And to make things even worse, a haunted that looks dead isn't always dead. So instead of wasting extra bullets to make sure they stay down, the best strategy is to burn the body with a match before it gets the chance to stand back up. Since we still need to find the rest of the team, we make our way through a cave. Halfway through, we finally run into Leslie. He's completely terrified, warning Sebastian over and over.
Hurts! Hurts!
Whoa. Were you warning me about this? You are Leslie, right? I'm a police officer. Maybe I should help you.
Should help you.
Then, for some reason, the second Sebastian says the word hospital, Leslie takes off running again.
Hospital! Hospital! Hospital!
What the fuck?
After what happened earlier, he's clearly not making the same mistake twice. This time, he carefully disarms the trap instead. When we finally make it out of the cave, we find a small wooden cabin with a bright lantern hanging outside and blood smeared across the front door. Honestly, this is the developer's way of making sure players don't get lost. At least they didn't slap a giant yellow paint mark on everything. Inside the cabin, we see the nurse walking toward a mirror that's glowing with an intense white light. The moment we get close, Sebastian is pulled straight into it and wakes up back at the hospital.
What the... Back here again.
It's basically another dimension, something you'll see a lot in psychological horror games, especially Silent Hill. In Silent Hill 4, Henry enters the other world through the giant hole in his apartment bathroom. Silent Hill Origins is actually much closer to the evil within, since Travis also crosses into the other world through a mirror. Back at the hospital, we learn this place is called the Safe Haven. It's the only location in the entire game where we're completely safe. No monsters can get in here. This is where we upgrade Sebastian's abilities and save our progress. As soon as we leave the Safe Haven, we spot Leslie running into a small shack while a haunted keeps slamming against the door behind him. This is where the game introduces its stealth kill mechanic. And finally, the knife we stole from the sadist's room actually gets some use. Still trying to catch Leslie, we come across two villagers who look perfectly normal at first.
Hey, are you guys from around here? I don't know where...
Then, in the blink of an eye, they turn into Haunted. To pull this off, we just wait for the right moment, then take them both out with 2 back-to-back stealth kills. I've got to admit, the stealth kill animations in this game are ridiculously satisfying. We keep following the trail until we stumble across a whole group of Haunted quietly enjoying their meal. Instead of picking a fight, we try sneaking around them on the left. It would have been a great plan, if one of them hadn't spotted us. A few seconds later, the entire group is charging after Sebastian.
Shit. Better get out of here.
And before we know it, we're completely cornered.
God damn it!
Sebastian finally pulls himself out of the water, grabs the supplies waiting nearby, and starts making his way up the stairs.
Shit.
Sebastian runs into a man and immediately points his gun at him.
Don't shoot.
Who's there?
No, don't shoot. I'm not one of them. I'm a doctor. Marcelo Jimenez.
You were in the ambulance before it crashed, right?
Yes, we're lucky to be alive.
Have you seen anyone else?
My patient Leslie. I saw him running up ahead, but...
But?
Come this way. Quietly, mind you.
The man says he just saw one of his patients, Leslie, running up ahead.
Leslie went through that gate. Good Lord.
There are too many to shoot our way through.
Jimenez explains that Leslie ran through the gate, but there's something really strange about that. Leslie somehow made it through a whole crowd of Haunted without being attacked. So, what exactly is so special about this guy? We'll get to that later. To get through the gate, they come up with a simple plan. One of them distracts the Haunted while the other sneaks through. What's interesting is that Jimenez doesn't act like an ordinary person at all. Even with a crowd of Haunted surrounding him, he stays completely calm. He casually lures the entire group into a nearby house. Either he's unbelievably brave, or he knows something we don't. To open the gate, we make our way through a village filled with abandoned houses. This is where the game starts introducing Haunted that are much more dangerous than the ones we've fought so far. Some carry axes, others have knives, and a few are even packing firearms. For the first time, we have to deal with Haunted that can shoot back from a distance. And that's not the end of it. The Haunted can now smash through windows to chase us, and even kick down doors if they know where we're hiding. The village is designed as the moment where the game stops letting you rely on stealth alone. Earlier chapters usually threw a handful of isolated Haunted your way. Here, they're everywhere. They patrol in larger groups, cover different parts of the village, and can even trigger the traps scattered around the area. Right in the middle of all this, we finally get one of the game's most iconic weapons, the Agony Crossbow. And this is where the fun begins. The crossbow comes with 5 different bolt types, each built for a different situation. The harpoon bolt is the cheapest one to craft, but it's also surprisingly effective. If a Haunted is standing in the right spot, the bolt can launch them straight into a wall and pin them there. The explosive bolt is perfect when a whole group starts rushing you. It blows up on impact, or you can plant it on the ground and turn it into a trap. The shock bolt stuns enemies, but its real strength is how it interacts with water. Fire one into a puddle, and the electricity spreads through it, shocking every Haunted standing inside. The flashbolt doesn't deal any damage, but it blinds nearby enemies long enough to set up an easy stealth kill. One flash, one free stealth kill. And finally, there's the freeze bolt, which is easily one of the most useful bolts in the entire game. It can stop almost every fast-moving enemy in its tracks. Regular Haunted can even be shattered with a single melee hit once they're frozen. We reach one of the houses and then... well, I guess that's what teamwork looks like.
Please, time is of the essence.
Our journey eventually brings us to a massive gate, but there's one problem. A heavy chain is keeping it locked shut.
Great. There's gotta be something that'll get through this. Maybe a chainsaw or something.
So we head back to the area where the sadist was being held. And this is where the game's very first boss fight begins. He's not alone either. A handful of Haunted jump into the fight with him, including one carrying a revolver. The moment the sadist finally goes down, with the fight finally over, we grab the sadist's chainsaw and head back to the gate that was blocking our way. This time, we slice right through the chain, and the path finally opens. The moment Sebastian steps through the gate, Jimenez finally decides to show up.
Wait! Over here! Wait, officer. You must take me with you.
Yeah, he waited until everything was over. Amazing survival instincts.
Leslie should be just ahead. It is imperative that we find him.
We keep making our way forward with Jimenez, and he walks ahead of us toward the house across the way, while all around us there are still these old houses with wooden fences and this quiet countryside feel. Like a dead village, even though the lights are somehow still on. We're barely settling into that when a burning ghost comes sprinting straight out of one of the houses and scares the hell out of us. Inside the hospice building, we poke around and loot every single item we can get our hands on. But we stop dead in a room that looks a lot like a treatment ward because something's waiting for us.
Valerio, it's me.
The good doctor is here.
This is my brother, Valerio. Leslie's original doctor.
And yeah, it turns out Valerio has already turned into a Haunted, his eyes glowing, swinging around a weapon that looks like a sickle but is really supposed to be a scalpel, since the guy's a doctor after all. We leave Valerio behind and head back to the front yard, where we spot Leslie screaming for help.
Help!
What's wrong with this kid?
As he runs into a house. And because Sebastian is such a good detective, he chases right after him, worried the kid's about to get eaten by a Haunted. The chase ends in a photo developing room bathed in red light.
Wait, Doc. I think something's coming.
This is where we run into a real bastard who can vanish on us using an invisible cloak. There are a bunch of ways to deal with him, but we go with the easiest, smacking him with melee attacks to force him out of invisibility whenever we land a hit. Once we take him down, they go to leave the place, but something weird happens, because the hallway that was connected a minute ago is now a dead end sealed off by a wall,
The stairs are gone.
which leaves Jimenez and Sebastian standing there completely confused.
Losing our minds! Losing our minds!
And it doesn't stop there, because at the end of the hallway, Ruvik suddenly shows up, staring us down like a debt collector who came for what he's owed. The second Ruvik appears, Jimenez is scared out of his mind, and Leslie starts screaming his head off. And while both of these guys are busy wetting their pants, Sebastian actually walks toward Ruvik to confront him, but the moment he gets close, the hallway around him starts to warp, so he keeps running forward while the space in front of him just keeps sliding away, and a few seconds later, blood suddenly comes flooding out of the end of the hall, filling the whole room and dragging Sebastian off to somewhere else that looks like a pool of blood. At this point, we're thinking this is finally going to be our first fight with Ruvik, but what actually happens is something else. Turns out Ruvik summons a bunch of haunted. By now, it's pretty clear Ruvik isn't just some guy who can teleport, because he can also summon whatever he feels like, so we throw everything we've got at these bastards. Once every last one of them is down on the ground, we walk through the hallway until we reach a room with the floor soaked in blood. And yeah, for the first time we meet one of the most brutal monsters in this whole game, and that's Laura. Laura's design is genuinely horrifying. Her body covered in extra arms and razor-sharp nails, long black hair hanging over her face, her whole body looking burned and charred, and the way she crawls around is like a spider, though sadly she isn't carrying a sword and shield. This monster can teleport just like Ruvik, but the thing that makes her even scarier is that she can't be killed at all. So for now we run without looking back, because the door at the end of the hall is about to close, and we finally slip away from Laura.
I made it.
Walking down the stairs, we get cut off by Ruvik, and if he catches us, he'll kill us instantly. So we bolt back up the stairs and find this whole area starting to collapse. We fall from way up high, but halfway down the environment shifts into a hospital hallway. And somehow we're falling sideways, as if gravity itself has completely stopped working. So we get straight to exploring this old, long-abandoned hospital. It doesn't take long before a few haunted jump us, and these ones can turn invisible. And let me tell you, these bastards are a special kind of annoying. Since we can't see them, the only way to know where they are is by watching the environment, because little things like objects suddenly moving or water splashing on the floor are the only signs they're nearby. Luckily, we've got a couple of new tricks to deal with them. A flashbolt blinds them for a few seconds, giving us the perfect chance to land a stealth kill. Or if we want to play it safe, we can fire a shock bolt into the floor, and the electricity forces them out of hiding, making them easy targets for a few bullets. Once we reach the big room, we get stopped in our tracks because the door needs a keycard.
Locked. Need to find a key card.
Luckily, the card isn't far off, sitting right next to a dead body. Sorry, dude. Just borrowing this for a second. After we use the keycard, Ruvik is already waiting at the end of the hallway. Without saying a single word, he leads Sebastian into a room that looks like an isolation ward in a psych hospital. Every wall has a small slit in it that lets us peek into the room on the other side. If you pay attention, these three rooms feel like they're laying out the stages of a research project. The first room shows someone reading a book, like it all started with theory. The second shows someone covering the walls in scribbles, like those ideas are being pieced together into a plan. And the last room is the final stage, the practice, where all that theory finally gets applied through experiments on the human brain. A door appears in every wall after we're done peeking, and once we step inside, we find a body on a table and a puzzle with 2 buttons. We have to press the right one, and if we press the wrong one, this is what happens. In front of us are 2 buttons with different flower symbols, one with sharp-pointed petals and one with rounded petals. And if we look a little closer, there's a drawing scribbled on the wall right in front of the puzzle. And one of those drawings shows a flower with pointed petals. So chances are that's the button we need to press. After clearing all 3 of these puzzles, a door opens up into a room where we find Joseph soaking in a bathtub, completely knocked out. We have absolutely no idea what Joseph has been through, but either way, we need to get out of here together as fast as we can. We walk into a room that looks like a hospital ward lined with rows of beds, and this is where a whole mob of haunted swarms us. Good thing Joseph isn't like Jimenez. He might look like a total bookworm, but Joseph actually helps us drop these bastards until every last one of them hits the floor. On our way out, we get stopped by a door rigged with a bunch of bombs. And with those bookworm skills of his, Joseph goes ahead and tries to disarm every bomb on that door, while we back up a good distance because we're pretty sure the thing is about to blow. But nope, the door just opens right up. Then, out of nowhere, the two of them hear this high-pitched ringing that drops them both in pain. We head upstairs and find a mirror leading to the safe haven. But the safe haven that's supposed to be our save room has turned black and white. Something strange is going on here.
Let go of me! Let go of me!
And yeah, all of that turns out to be a hallucination, but it does confirm one thing. Leslie is connected to this place too. He's been a slightly odd character from the very start, and if you pay attention, Ruvik actually seems more interested in Leslie than in Sebastian a few times. The game hasn't explained why just yet, but something clearly makes Leslie very important to Ruvik. But for now, we leave the safe haven, and we find Kidman locked inside an aquarium.
Kidman!
Get me out of this thing!
Wait a minute. It's another trap. Look.
This is where we team up with Joseph against wave after wave of Haunted, and we even run into one carrying dynamite.
Watch out! They've got dynamite!
After beating all these bastards down, we still have to get Kidman out of the tank. With Joseph guiding us, we have to shut off the control panel upstairs before the water fills the tank all the way.
Are you all right?
And of course, since Sebastian isn't about to get stuck down here alone forever, he jumps right into the hole after them. We land in a dark underground hallway that looks like an old sewer, and we follow the narrow path until we finally meet back up with our two friends. But our way forward is blocked by a concrete door, though smart guy Joseph has a plan.
Sebastian, maybe we can lift this enough for Kidman to go under and open it from the other side.
We're counting on you.
All right.
The three of us finally get back together, but not long after that, once again, we land somewhere even more torn apart, with blood pooling everywhere. We head down the hallway, and this is where we run into Laura again. We're running from Laura the whole time, and this is where we figure out that her weakness is fire. And armed with that little piece of knowledge, we face Laura head-on for the very first time. There are a few ways to burn her. We can use the torches scattered around the arena. We can shoot a fuel drum while she's standing next to it, or we can trap her in a burn room and trigger the flames from above. The locked door finally opens, so we keep moving until we reach a room with a few bathtubs. Turns out Leslie has been part of Ruvik's experiment this whole time.
This one is compatible. What in the hell?
We have no idea what that giant brain is supposed to mean, or who Ruvik really is. But what we do know is that we have to take these bastards down by stunning them and then ripping the cables out of their bodies. And then this happens. A doctor looks like he's about to inject Sebastian with something. Behind him, we catch another quick glimpse of that big machine that showed up before. And before we can even process what's going on, Sebastian is suddenly back in the safe haven with the nurse standing right in front of him.
Has something startled you?
Did they do something to my head?
The more this game goes on, the less this place makes any sense. The safe haven is supposed to be a safe place, but now it's even starting to change. Our attention goes straight to a safe that should never have been in this room. Judging by the shape of it, it's the exact same kind Arthur likes to loot.
Too goddamn slow!
Forget the safe, though, because our attention quickly shifts to a few photographs lying on the table. Sebastian starts looking through them one by one.
Photographs?
The first shows a collapsed church. But the moment we pick up the photo of the church's ruined floor, a hand suddenly reaches out from inside the picture. The room immediately starts shaking and every light goes out. Since we don't have a flashlight, we have to fire up the lantern just to see what's around us. And when we get back to the lobby...
What was that sound?
The nurse who's usually sitting there filing her nails is nowhere to be found. So we head down a hallway with cockroaches crawling all over the walls. At the end of it, the nurse turns up again, standing right in front of a mirror covered in Mobius symbols. A few seconds later, she walks off to the right, and if you remember, there wasn't even a hallway on that side before. We go after her right away, but the nurse disappears again. And before we can even start looking for where she went, the shadow of some huge figure suddenly shows up in front of us, and in a split second, he's gone. We walk into a room and find Leslie curled up in the corner, calling out.
Sebastian? Sebastian?
His body is giving off these strange waves, like something inside him is reacting to all of this. Leslie slowly turns his head, and his face suddenly turns to glass before shattering into pieces. And like always, we're instantly dragged somewhere else. Sebastian finds himself standing in the middle of a ruined building. The moment we step out from the rubble, the place feels strangely familiar, because the building right in front of us is the exact same church from the photograph.
Same place as the photographs.
We don't waste any time and head down the road toward the gate. But just as we get close, we hear gunshots coming from the other side. When the gate finally opens, we find Joseph lying on the ground. Sebastian rushes over to check on him, and thankfully, he's still alive.
My head wouldn't stop buzzing. It felt like it was about to crack open. But now it's like I'm starting to get used to it.
Sebastian immediately asks where Kidman is, but Joseph has no idea. The last thing he remembers is suddenly waking up here. Considering everything we've been through so far, it looks like Joseph got hit with the same teleportation that keeps happening to us. They barely have time to talk before something starts slamming against the gate from the other side. What's funny is, the thing could have just opened it, because we're pretty sure we never locked it in the first place. The two of us run inside, but a whole group of haunted smashes through the ruins anyway. Inside the building, we find another door rigged with explosives.
Another one?
Just like the one from earlier. Sebastian trusts Joseph to handle it.
Get that thing open!
I'm working on it. Just give me a little time.
So while he's busy defusing the bombs, it's our job to hold off wave after wave of haunted. This whole section basically turns into survival mode. The haunted just keep coming, and it doesn't matter how many we kill, they won't stop until Joseph gets that door open.
Hold them off much longer.
Another moment. Just keep me covered.
Once he finishes the first one, we sprint into the next room, only to find another bomb-covered door waiting for us. So it's back to holding the line until Joseph clears the way again.
There's twice as many of them.
If you've got time to complain.
Once it's finally over, Sebastian and Joseph slam the gate shut behind them. With things finally settling down for a minute, Sebastian suggests taking a quick break and finding the nearest Starbucks for an energy drink.
Let's rest for a minute. We can't keep going at this pace.
Joseph immediately shuts that idea down. As far as he's concerned, the longer they stay here, the lower their chances of making it out alive.
Anything's got to be better than staying here.
As we make our way toward the tower, Joseph proves once again that he's someone you actually want watching your back. Before we can reach the tower, though, we've got to deal with 4 bastards manning the ballistas up top, along with the haunted guarding the gate mechanism. Leave them alive, and the enemies just keep coming. Once the area's finally clear, we make it to the tower door, only to find Sadist waiting on the other side. Thankfully, this fight is a joke if you've got flashbolts. One flash leaves him completely open for a stealth attack. It isn't enough to finish him, so we hit him with another flashbolt, land a second stealth attack, and that's the end of him. After he goes down, Sadist's body dissolves into a spray of blood. The only difference this time is that Ruvik never shows up. We head straight to the top of the tower, where we finally get a clear view of a bridge that's apparently the only way forward. Before we leave, Joseph asks Sebastian if he thinks Kidman's still alive.
Do you think Kidman is okay?
I don't like that they used her as bait. Almost like someone's toying with us.
And judging by the way Joseph's been acting lately, something doesn't seem right with him either. He's been looking worse and worse ever since we found him.
Hang in there. Just a little further.
Just a few steps onto the bridge, we spot two haunted dragging someone toward a guillotine. Joseph doesn't even hesitate and rushes in to help. Unfortunately, he steps right into a trap, blowing apart part of the bridge and leaving us stranded on opposite sides. The blast knocks him unconscious, and the two haunted immediately switch targets, dragging Joseph toward the guillotine instead. From the other side, we have to take out both haunted before it's too late, because if we fail... So, let's not let that happen. Once both haunted are down, Joseph finally comes to and opens the way so we can cross. And this is where Joseph pulls his pistol out.
What the hell?
Mumbling that it's only a matter of time before he turns into a haunted for real. He even says they should have just let him die at the hands of the haunted back there. Good thing Sebastian is quick enough to grab the gun before Joseph can pull the trigger. Before we can even talk about what just happened, the haunted comes back in. So we run for the next gate. Same as always, Joseph handles the door, because every locked door somehow becomes Joseph's problem, while we get the permanent job of being the muscle. Once the gate opens, running sounds like a solid plan.
Hurry, this way!
We eventually reach a village that looks like it came straight out of the Middle Ages. The weird part is, somehow this place has electricity, and even an elevator. Sebastian's just as confused as we are.
More like when? This architecture seems straight out of the Middle Ages.
Yeah, but there's electricity. Elevators. This place can't be real.
We haven't gone very far before Joseph suddenly starts coughing so hard he spits up blood. Sebastian quickly helps him into one of the nearby houses. He pulls out a bottle, and Joseph gives his answer.
Is this what it was like, Seb? After the accident?
Well, I never put a gun to my head.
A moment later, Sebastian glances toward the window.
We don't have time for this. I need my partner here. I'm counting on you.
Meanwhile, Joseph's busy copying all the strange writing covering the walls into his notebook. Once we leave the house, we hear someone screaming in the distance.
Hold on a minute. Let me climb up here and see if I can get a look ahead.
Joseph climbs up to get a better view, and from there we spot Leslie and Kidman heading toward the church. Oddly enough, Joseph barely reacts when he sees Leslie.
Hey, that's Kidman. Who's that she's with?
He grabs a sniper rifle from a dead haunted lying nearby. We make our way toward the church, clearing out the haunted blocking the road. Once we get through the gate, Joseph tells us,
Sebastian, that should lead you out near the path to the church. Keep going, I'll cover you.
A few steps later, one of the haunted pulls a lever and opens a massive gate. Out walks a giant haunted, who immediately smashes another haunted to pieces. Thankfully, the giant haunted is one of the easier bosses if you've got freeze bolts. One shot freezes him in place long enough for us to unload on him without much trouble. And after we finally put him down, yes, of course, another one shows up. So we do exactly the same thing. Freeze bolt, beat him down, then move on. Seriously, freeze bolts make this fight almost unfair. Once the second giant haunted goes down, the path to the church gets blocked by rubble. Joseph suggests meeting back up at the horse statue instead. When we get there, he pulls out his notebook again, and good thing he does because it points us to a hidden lever tucked away at the base of the statue. The second Sebastian looks down into the hole below, we hear the sound of glass shattering.
I guess we go down.
I guess so.
Just like that, we're back in the safe haven. Nothing unusual happens this time, so we just head back through the mirror. Now we're at the bottom of the pit with Joseph.
Are you alright?
You don't need to worry about me.
Does it seem a little harder to move lately?
The place is packed with hanging body bags, and someone's voice keeps echoing through the tunnels. We keep pushing deeper until we reach what looks like some kind of ritual site. Suddenly, the path ahead slams shut. Next to the door are a bunch of numbers written on the wall, so Joseph immediately pulls out his notebook again.
It seems the sacrifices need to be lowered onto the proper altars, and the safe way to him will be opened.
This puzzle's actually pretty simple. Each altar matches a number, and all we have to do is lower the body bags whose numbers are crossed out on the wall. Once we've got the right ones, the door opens.
I heard something.
At the end of the hallway, we find a pile of haunted corpses alongside an elevator that looks more like an iron cage. Since there's nowhere else to go, we step inside. The elevator takes us down into a laboratory. Inside a huge glass tank filled with liquid, there's a massive creature floating there asleep. And beside it is a photo of 2 babies. Not far from there, we find a note about the guard dog. A few steps later, the monster actually shows up. So, this is what the note was warning us about. We keep moving toward the exit, but just as we're about to make it, we hear the iron cage opening behind us. The exit door is still locked, and as usual, Joseph gets stuck figuring it out. The second he opens the door, the guard dog smashes through the wall and attacks. Joseph gets hit first, taking a brutal mauling before getting knocked unconscious, leaving us to deal with this boss alone. The guard dog is a little trickier than the last boss because he keeps disappearing into the bushes. For something that big, he sure loves playing hide and seek. The safest strategy is to wait until he charges out, blast him with the shotgun, then follow up with a grenade or an explosive bolt while he's down. Once we finally beat him, Sebastian helps Joseph and carries him through the narrow opening beneath the gate. That's when Joseph suddenly realizes he left his glasses behind.
What is it?
I dropped my glasses back there.
And of course, the guard dog comes back. At this point, we've got 2 options. We can sneak back in, grab Joseph's glasses while the monster's distracted, or fight the guard dog again for some extra green gel.
Bad dog.
Once we've got the glasses back, we return to Joseph. The moment he puts them on,
It's about feeling normal.
It's all right. Let's focus on finding Kidman.
he finally starts looking like himself again. After that, we're back on the road to the church.
As soon as we enter the old church, we find Joseph, who clearly doesn't look so good. We can hear Leslie and Kidman somewhere below us, but Joseph keeps getting worse. He's coughing non-stop and looks completely drained.
Hey, Joseph, you still with me?
Ever since we found him in that bathtub, he hasn't looked healthy. He even turned into a haunted for a few seconds before snapping back. That's probably not a good sign. The game never fully explains why Joseph is sick, but it's pretty easy to suspect Ruvik experimented on him before we found him.
Almost like someone's toying with us.
Sebastian tries to reassure Joseph because so far, he's managed to stop the transformation every single time.
You're not listening. I'm not worried about stopping it, Seb. I'm worried about not wanting to stop it.
Not because he's drowning in debt or anything like that. He doesn't even know why he wants to change. All he knows is that whatever this illness is, it's getting deeper into his mind. But Joseph admits he's fighting himself. Part of him wants to resist it, while another part wants to give in.
Some part of me wants to turn. I don't know why, and I can't reason it away.
Before Sebastian can respond, Ruvik has other plans.
Hold on. This might...
Our landing isn't exactly graceful, but we end up in what looks like an old catacomb.
I'd better start searching for my partners.
The place is filled with candles, altars, and ancient stonework, making it pretty obvious this was once used for rituals. At the end of the hallway, we find a carved stone wall. Remove the carved head, pick up an old lithograph, and watch as the wall slowly rises. Very modern design for an ancient catacomb. After grabbing everything worth looting, we stop the moment we see this.
Oh shit.
Unfortunately, the path closes before we even get a proper introduction. To open it again, we need to collect 3 lithographs and place them into this wall. We already found one on the way in, so we put it into place.
It fits.
Taking the left path, we run into a hallway filled with poisonous gas. But don't worry, because apparently every toxic gas problem can be solved by turning a valve. As we move deeper into the tunnels, we run into a different kind of haunted. Their skin has peeled away, exposing raw flesh underneath, and their faces barely look human anymore. This one even has multiple faces fused together on its head, making it far more disturbing than the haunted we fought back in the village. This variant can also spit green acid from its mouth. At this point, they're not just infected people anymore. They've become grotesque mutants. This version is called the alter ego, but we're just going to keep calling them haunted. After heading down the stairs, the guy with the box on his head traps us inside a room full of poisonous gas. But since Sebastian apparently works part-time as a plumber, he has no problem sealing every leaking pipe.
Fuck.
We keep moving until we reach a chamber covered with skulls and scattered bones. The walls are lined with burial niches where bodies were once laid to rest. Personally, I'm not going into a place like this unless there's a nuclear war or the end of the world happening outside. Anyway, after getting past a bunch of assholes and traps around every corner, we reach the end of the hallway, grab the second lithograph, and head back to the main chamber. After placing it,
just one more.
We head to the other side to look for the third one. But this part of the catacombs is packed with traps that honestly feel a little like Tomb Raider. To move forward, we have to shoot 2 valve wheels on opposite sides of the room. Once they're both activated, a giant spiked iron slams down from above. The nice part is that when it lifts back up, we can use it as a platform to reach the floor above. A group of haunted jumps us, so we use the traps against them, which honestly saves us a lot of ammo. At the end of the path, we finally find the third lithograph, and the way back to the main chamber opens up. We place the third lithograph into the wall, and the path finally opens. A few steps later, we're greeted by a giant dude with a safe for a head and a massive hammer. And yeah, Sebastian immediately steps on a mine just as giant spiked traps start crashing down in front of him. There's no turning back now. We sprint through the minefield as fast as possible before the traps overhead turn us into a pancake. At the end of the hall, we find Leslie locked inside a prison cell.
You're safe. Where's...
Kid.
Kidman? Is she here too?
Kid.
Is she all right?
Is she all right? All right?
Stand back. I'll get it open.
After freeing him, we turn the hand wheel to open the gate, but instead...
No! Wait! Leslie! Leslie!
Yep, this is where we finally have to fight this thing. He's called the Keeper, and he's easily one of the most iconic monsters in the entire game. His huge body and safe-shaped head make him instantly recognizable. According to the official art book, the safe represents Ruvik's secrets and research. things he desperately wanted to keep protected. That's where the name The Keeper comes from. He isn't a human who turned into a monster. He was created for one purpose: to keep Ruvik's secrets locked away.
We take him down fast. But that doesn't really solve the problem. As long as there's another safe somewhere nearby, he can just come right back. The arena slowly fills with poisonous gas, so now it's a race against time. We have to shut off every gas valve while dealing with the Keeper because the exit is completely blocked by the gas. We make it into a room with a heavy steel door and slam it shut behind us so the Keeper can't follow. We close the second valve, but then... And yeah, this guy never really stays dead. After putting him down again, we head for the third valve, only to find... So we beat him down one more time before finding a valve handle and attaching it to the last valve. Once the gas is gone, we run downstairs to an area without any safes, giving the Keeper nowhere to respawn. We seal another steel door behind us and finally get a chance to breathe. Thinking we're finally in the clear, we climb the stairs. And then this happens.
Take this!
Finally.
A pretty dramatic ending for the Keeper, but honestly, we don't buy it. We've already seen him come back over and over as long as there's a safe nearby. And by the way, we actually saw a safe sitting in the safe haven earlier, which means if the developers really wanted to, the Keeper could have invaded the safe haven too.
Leaving behind a very flattened Keeper, we make our way into an underground area connected to a cave. The objective is still the same. We need to catch up to Leslie and find the rest of our team. Hopefully Joseph hasn't turned yet.
I'm worried about not wanting to stop it.
The cave itself is pretty normal. Honestly, there's not much to talk about here, except for a new alter ego variant. It still has the same basic design. A human body with a mutated head growing out of its upper torso. But this time, a long tentacle sticks out of its chest and can attack from a distance. This version is much more aggressive. It just has a tentacle this time, and at close range, it can even kill you in a single hit if you don't dodge in time. The cave feels so cramped because the developers clearly designed it that way. With barely any room to move, fighting these tentacle monsters is supposed to be intense. Unfortunately, that idea falls apart because we can just snipe them the moment we spot them at the end of the tunnel. Next time, maybe don't give Sebastian a sniper rifle before sending him in here. As we go deeper into the cave, we run into a swarm of tiny monsters. Luckily, we don't need to waste any ammo on them. We use our shoes instead. Near the end of the cave, we come across a trapped hallway. Dead bodies are still impaled on spears, like a warning to anyone crazy enough to keep going. We also find a note explaining that the door ahead can be opened with a stone tablet. The problem is, the tablet can be inserted in 2 different directions, so we have to guess which side is correct. Thankfully, it's basically a 50-50 chance. We get it right, and the door finally opens. A few steps later, we walk through a cave tunnel where strange waves start coming toward us. Then, without warning, the cave suddenly turns into a hospital hallway. Here, we run into Jimenez again.
Doc. Doc, what the hell is going on?
There's no time.
Standing in the same room full of machines and bathtubs from before. Jimenez looks completely focused on his notes, trying to figure something out.
I'm sorry, I have to find this.
Sebastian, who's had enough of all this weirdness, immediately demands answers. What exactly is happening here? And who is Ruvik? According to Jimenez, Everyone trapped in this place is connected through a machine that links their brains together.
It's like linking brains together. Sharing everything on an electrochemical level. Emotion, memory, perception, everything. Directly.
They're all sharing the same memories, emotions, and perception inside a single world. Sebastian assumes they're inside Ruvik's mind,
And we're all inside his head.
but Jimenez quickly shuts that idea down. This world doesn't belong to Ruvik alone. Everyone connected to the machine helps shape it. The difference is, Ruvik is the only one who has full control over it. Jimenez believes that's why this place keeps changing whenever Ruvik wants. And if his theory is right, Ruvik only has one goal: kill everyone trapped in this world. That explanation finally makes a lot of things click. Ruvik's ability to appear anywhere, reshape the world around him, collapse entire buildings from the very beginning, and even create monsters like the Sadist and the Haunted. All of it comes from his control over this world. You could say this is an artificial world, and Ruvik is basically its god.
Doctor?
And judging by everything we've seen so far, he's a terrible server host. Before we know it, the room changes on its own. Every bathtub and machine disappears without a trace. We leave the room, only to be greeted by this. Yep, now we have to run for our lives until we finally make it back to the safe haven lobby. Except, the one waiting for us there is Ruvik. Out of nowhere, we're suddenly shown a first-person view of a sunflower field, where one of the villagers seems to be burning something that I probably shouldn't say out loud here. Sebastian snaps back to reality just as confused as we are.
Was that someone else's memories?
We wake up back in the safe haven.
You were moaning in your sleep. Have a bad dream?
And this time something's different in the lobby. There's now a family portrait hanging on the wall with 4 people in it. The weirdest part is that neither of the kids has a visible face. The daughter's face is completely covered by a pitch-black shadow, while the son's face is crawling with a swarm of cockroaches that just keep pouring out. Yeah, that's definitely not normal. But the moment we step closer, after getting tossed around between locations a few more times, we eventually end up in what looks like a forest. Sure enough, there's a huge old mansion sitting in the middle of it. Sebastian feels like he's seen this place before, even though he's never actually been here.
I've never been here before, but...
The moment we open the front door, we see Leslie and Jimenez disappear into a hallway before a massive steel door slams shut behind them. Our goal is to get this massive steel door open, but we have no idea how yet.
Now what?
3 hoses are connected to tanks mounted on the door, so we follow the first pipe while exploring the ground floor. Along the way, we find one of Ruvik's notes. He writes that he's finally discovered a path to a whole new world. According to him, the key to reaching it is destroying human consciousness. Near the end of the note, he also mentions Jimenez by name, making it pretty clear the doctor is part of his bigger plan. As we keep searching, we come across a table with a brain statue sitting on top of it.
What do we have here?
Unfortunately, I can't show you this puzzle because the video might end up getting restricted by the CEO of YouTube. Once we solve the puzzle, the liquid inside the first tank flows into the mechanism on the steel door, leaving 2 more tanks before it'll finally unlock. At the same time, we witness a memory from the past, showing Ruvik and Jimenez back when they were still researchers.
A research lab of your own. I am most impressed.
Jimenez admires Ruvik's private laboratory and asks to see the experiment he's been working on.
Men of science are dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. You can show me your experiments. I can show you things.
But Ruvik refuses, convinced Jimenez would find it disgusting. Jimenez responds that real scientists have to be willing to do the things ordinary people find horrifying.
You wouldn't like them. You'd think they're gross.
In science, one must do any number of things a layperson may find disgusting.
When Ruvik asks if that makes him a monster, Jimenez simply says his appearance doesn't matter. The only thing that's truly valuable is his mind.
You think I'm some kind of a monster?
You concern yourself so much with your appearance, but that mind of yours, that's all that matters.
The moment we're back in control, a strange wave suddenly sweeps through the mansion, and the music changes out of nowhere. Sure enough, Ruvik shows up, and he doesn't look friendly. This is one of the game's chase mechanics. While we're searching for the last 2 chemical tanks, Ruvik can appear almost anywhere at random. Our first instinct is obviously to shoot him. Yeah, that does absolutely nothing. The only way to get away from him is to hide or simply keep your distance, and eventually, he'll disappear on his own. But Ruvik still has one more trick. He can disguise himself as one of the haunted, so you never really know who's about to kill you until it's already too late. As we make our way through the 2nd floor, we come across a room filled with family photos. One of them is the same portrait we saw back in the safe haven. Now we can finally confirm that it's Ruvik's family, which means this mansion is actually the house he grew up in. The boy on the left is Ruvik. His parents are standing in the middle, while the girl in the red dress on the right is still a mystery. In the same room, we also find another safe dial sitting right in front of the painting. To find the 2nd tank, we head upstairs into the library. Here we find a 2nd safe dial placed in front of a painting of a guillotine with 11 people standing behind it, all wearing white hoods. We have no clue what these safe dials are for yet, so we just hang on to them for later. We also find another note revealing that Ruvik still hasn't accepted Laura's death. He even writes that he saw her again wearing her favorite red dress, as if she were still alive. That finally explains who the girl in the family portrait is. She's Laura. And yeah, she's also the nightmare we fought earlier. We keep following the pipe toward the 2nd tank. But right before we reach the end of the hallway, Sebastian steps into a trap.
Shit!
Eventually, we enter what looks like the master's bedroom, where we discover a hidden passage behind the fireplace. At the end of it is another room with the same puzzle we've already seen before.
Again?
Once we solve it, the 2nd tank drains into the door mechanism, and another memory appears. This time, we find Ruvik standing over a dead body that looks an awful lot like his father.
Oh, Father. If you only knew how satisfying that look on your face is. Did you actually think if you locked me away, I would just cease to exist? Out of sight, out of mind. You did. You did. Didn't you? Oh, you were never out of my mind. I hope you're proud of yourselves.
Ruvik looks different here. His head is wrapped in bandages, and he's holding a knife in his hand. At this point, it's pretty safe to assume the body lying in front of him is one of his victims. Back in the main hall.
Just one more to go.
Now it's time to find the 3rd tank. We follow the last pipe into the room on the right, where we find a piano. The pipe disappears straight into the wall, but mounted on that wall is a painting with 2 slots for the safe dials. We enter the combination, and the hidden door finally opens. Inside the hidden room, we finally find the 3rd tank.
That door should be open now.
But when we turn around,
Another memory appears, showing Ruvik and Jimenez in the middle of an argument.
The hospital has not received the family's usual donation this year.
And why would they? Has the hospital been doing anything worthy of donation?
The Victoriano family has always been a generous contributor. Where are your parents?
They have gone away.
When do you expect them?
Is there something you wish to discuss, Doctor?
I came to inform you that the hospital will no longer be able to provide you with assistance. Materials. Your research will very quickly disintegrate.
How dare you come into my home and threaten me?
With all 3 tanks finally filled, we head back to the main hall.
About fucking time.
And at last, the massive steel door opens. The objective hasn't changed. We're still chasing Leslie and Jimenez. We step through the door and find ourselves in a hallway that seems to stretch on forever. Then, this happens. Just like that, we're thrown into another memory, where we see a younger Ruvik quietly studying.
Ruvik?
The vision keeps moving, so we follow him all the way to the end of the hallway. Naturally, the first thing we try is shooting him, but our bullets don't do a thing. So instead, we do the smart thing and run through the door on the right. Unfortunately, that doesn't exactly go according to plan. Now we've got to carefully make our way through a hallway packed with traps. Once we finally reach the end, we're thrown somewhere else again, this time into a room filled with giant doll heads. Here we're constantly being chased by Ruvik's blood-red form while scrambling to find a way out as fast as possible. Eventually we reach another hallway, and when we open the door at the end, we're greeted by a sunflower field stretching as far as the eye can see.
Why was I led here?
Our attention immediately shifts to the large barn standing in the distance. When we step inside, we see young Ruvik and Laura playing hide-and-seek together. Suddenly, we're shown the villagers surrounding the barn.
Rich bastards. Think they can buy up all our land.
They need to be shown who really owns these parts.
While Ruvik and Laura are still playing inside, the villagers begin pouring gasoline all over the building.
Hey, I think there's kids in there. I didn't hear anything.
A moment later, one of them throws a torch onto the gasoline-soaked hay, and the entire barn goes up in flames. Ruvik and Laura are trapped inside.
Somebody, open the door! Ruben!
Laura manages to shove Ruben, Ruvik's real name, out through a window, but she can't escape herself. And yeah, this is why Ruvik's face and body are horribly burned in the present day. It's pretty clear this tragedy completely changed him. We still don't have the full picture of what happened afterward, but we'll get into that later.
Shit. I better get out of here. There.
Just as we're about to jump out the window ourselves, Ruvik's red monster form suddenly knocks us back. There's no way to kill him. The only thing we can do is survive by fighting off the haunted he keeps summoning until... The roof finally collapses, and we're thrown back into the endless hallway from before. Following the hallway, we eventually discover a hidden room tucked away behind a bookshelf.
We finally arrive at an underground facility, where we're greeted by another memory of Ruvik talking with Jimenez.
How many have you killed, Ruben?
Ruben? Does he mean Ruvik?
Numbers are irrelevant. They received as they themselves gave, and they served a higher purpose. They furthered my research.
This was not mere research. The things the papers say were done to those people, those traps.
These vermin, these microbes, they're mine to do with as I please. But you are correct. This was not mere research. I'm close to perfection.
This is abhorrent.
This is my will.
From their conversation, it's obvious Jimenez knows a lot more about everything that's happening than he's been letting on. Not long after that, we hear someone screaming from behind a nearby door. In the next area, we're forced to fight our way through a large group of haunted. One thing to watch out for, one of them is carrying a sniper rifle.
Shit, better find cover.
Great, now they're fighting smarter than before. The room after that is dominated by a massive machine that's constantly rotating. Iron cages hang from it, while giant blades spin underneath. To make it through, we have to duck every time one of those blades swings by. That's an aggressive security system. While exploring, we come across a battery pack, although we have no idea what it's for yet. After clearing out every haunted in the area, we find a machine that needs the battery to power it. Once we install it, the exit door finally opens. Leaving that section behind, we head even deeper into the underground facility. As we're walking down the stairs, we hear the sound of metal scraping across the floor somewhere in the distance. A few moments later, we catch a glimpse of a brand new monster dragging what looks like a huge piece of metal through the hallway. That sound alone is enough to make anyone reconsider exploring. The next room is filled with inactive traps, along with several haunted wandering around. After searching the area, we eventually find another battery and install it into the machine beside the exit. Apparently, every door in this place runs on the same battery. And yeah, the traps that were harmless a second ago suddenly activated. Just as we're about to head back, we're ambushed by that new haunted variant. This thing has a massive claw for its right arm, and it can charge at us with surprising speed. It's basically a mini-boss, not on Laura or the Keeper's level, but definitely more dangerous than your average haunted. We take it down by luring it over the 3 explosive bolts we planted on the floor earlier. If the explosions don't finish it off, a few more shots will do the job. Once it's finally dead, we head back to the main door, pull the lever beside it, and the path to the next area finally opens. We barely make it a few steps into the hallway before the giant monster that chased us earlier suddenly slams us into another room. When we glance toward the window, we catch a quick glimpse of something crawling outside. It looks an awful lot like Laura. That's usually not a good sign. In the next room, we find a recording revealing that after the barn fire, Ruvik became obsessed with repairing his ruined body and bringing Laura back.
I would regain my face, recover what was taken from me, restore her, my beloved sister, Laura.
A few moments later, that suspicion is confirmed. Laura appears, crawling behind a wire fence. The second we pull the lever to open the path, she breaks free and comes straight for us. We hit her with a freeze bolt and immediately run. Sometimes the best strategy is simply leaving. After racing through a hospital hallway where Haunted keeps smashing through doors all around us, we finally manage to lose Laura. Eventually, we reach an area that looks like an old factory. Several walls of fire block the way forward, but they can be turned off by pulling nearby levers. Yeah, I think I know where this is going. Because we already know Laura's biggest weakness is fire. Sure enough, a few seconds later she drops down from the ceiling. There she is. We immediately start running, but the exit is blocked by another wall of flames. We use a freeze bolt to slow Laura down while pulling the lever to shut the fire off. Unfortunately, the only problem is the fire doesn't shut off right away, so we've got to keep Laura busy until it does. So while we're waiting, we fire a shock bolt into the pipe beneath her to electrocute her, then shoot the valve to blast her with a stream of fire.
Damn it! We move on to the next area, and it's basically the same idea as before. Pull the lever, then buy ourselves some time by keeping Laura occupied. The second the path opens, we make a run for the elevator. And yeah, we finally get away, and Sebastian actually looks relieved. But only for a few seconds.
Who do you think you are? I know who you are. Seb. I know what you crave, what you fear. Will you be able to live with yourself knowing what I'm gonna make you do? Poor little Joseph couldn't. Too bad they dragged you into this. But either way, you're mine. To do with as I please.
For some reason, Ruvik doesn't kill Sebastian even though he has the perfect chance. The elevator keeps descending, and of course, it drops us right back into the mansion.
Shit, back here again.
We try exploring the mansion one more time, but every door is locked. The only way forward is the last door at the end of the hallway. Inside, we finally catch up with Leslie and Dr. Himezin.
Doc, what the hell do you think you're doing?
Trying to save us.
Really? Because it looks like you're making another monster to me.
I don't have time for this, Detective.
Neither do I.
Jimenez finally reveals that Leslie has actually been here before. He was the only patient who ever managed to return to the real world after being connected to Ruvik's world. That's why Jimenez believes Leslie is their only hope of getting everyone out of this place.
Leslie has been here before, and made it back. He survived being linked to Ruvik, the only patient ever as far as I know.
Wonderful. What does that have to do with any of this?
He's our way out, Detective. Our only way back.
Jimenez then powers up a machine connected to Leslie. A few moments later, the monitor starts showing synchronized brain activity. The world around them suddenly shifts into a laboratory, and for the first time, we get a brief glimpse of the real world.
Oh, thank God it's working.
But it doesn't last. A few seconds later, everything snaps back to the way it was.
Leslie, are you all right?
It should have. Why didn't it?
Turns out something created by Ruvik is interfering with the connection.
That's it. That's why.
Doctor, run!
He wants the same thing as us. He wants out!
A moment later, we find ourselves in a hospital that's noticeably cleaner and much more modern than anywhere we've been before. Just as we're about to leave, we hear someone talking behind the door leading to the safe haven.
Hey! I know you're out there! Listen to me, goddammit!
Without warning, we're pulled into the safe haven and hear a patient speaking from inside a dark room. For the first time, we hear the name STEM.
Wait, STEM?
The mysterious voice explains that Ruvik has destroyed one of the STEM terminals. The only connection that's still intact is the main STEM at Beacon Mental Hospital, where Ruvik is waiting for someone.
All he has left is his connection to the present. The full STEM in the hospital.
Hospital? Beacon Mental Hospital?
We still don't know who he's waiting for, but this conversation definitely makes us suspect STEM is connected to those bathtub machines we've been seeing throughout the game.
You have an odor of blood about you.
Yeah. The nurse is starting to look really suspicious. Anyway, we leave the safe haven and crawl through a narrow sewer tunnel. When we finally crawl out into the parking lot, we're immediately greeted by...
God damn it!
Well, that's one way to say hello. And yeah, this is where we have to fight the monster. I think this is one of the hardest bosses in the entire game. We died over and over before finally figuring out the trick. The safest strategy is basically to play hide and seek. Whenever it loses track of us, it'll send out an eyeball-covered tentacle to search for us. Shoot the tentacle to stun it, then unload on the heads growing out of its body. Freeze bolts are incredibly useful here, since they can lock it in place long enough to create some breathing room. Once the second phase starts, the monster mutates and can instantly swallow us if we get too close. Yeah, don't let him hug you. Once the monster finally goes down, the elevator door opens. The developers were honestly pretty generous in this section. There's ammo and healing supplies everywhere, even though you barely need half of it. So we save the rest for Ruvik later.
Seb.
The elevator suddenly starts shaking violently. Sebastian gets a free zero-gravity experience as it plummets straight down. A few seconds later, we realize something even crazier. This elevator isn't falling underground, it's falling out of the sky. From above, we can actually see Beacon Mental Hospital sitting far below us before the elevator finally crashes into the water. After making it out, we're greeted by a city that's been completely torn apart. Buildings are scattered everywhere, and the whole place looks like reality itself has been ripped to pieces. It really shows just how insane Ruvik's power has become. What's strange, though, is that right in the middle of all this chaos, Beacon Mental Hospital hasn't been touched at all. At this point, it's obvious this world isn't real, but it sure feels real. The ground keeps shifting beneath our feet. Entire buildings slide across the city like they're made of cardboard, and honestly, I was half expecting Sebastian to get crushed between two of them at any second. Not long after that, we stumble across the strongest handgun in the entire game, the Magnum. No idea who left it there, but it's just sitting inside a suitcase on top of a dining table. Yeah, no way we're letting that go to waste. We keep moving, taking out a few bastards blocking the way. But before we get very far, Ruvik suddenly appears and cuts us off. Except, something feels off. He's wearing the same clothes as Ruvik, but his face is completely hidden. Well, this seems like the perfect opportunity to test out our brand new Magnum. First, we lock him in place with a freeze bolt so he can't move. One Magnum shot, problem solved. But turns out it was just the made-in-China version of Ruvik.
Some kind of fake?
Not long after that, we spot Kidman cornered on a building, surrounded by a whole crowd of Haunted. Seeing his partner in trouble, Sebastian wastes no time rushing over.
I better get over there.
Without a second thought, we dive into the water and swim toward the building where Kidman's trapped.
Kidman, hold on!
Help! There's too many of them!
By the time we get there, things are even worse than they looked from a distance. The place is crawling with haunted, and the background music suddenly kicks in, which usually means there's no talking our way out of this one. Luckily, most of them are packed together, so the easiest solution is to toss a grenade right into the middle of the crowd. One explosion wipes out a good chunk of them. The survivors get hit with a flashbolt, giving us plenty of time to finish them off with stealth kills, one by one. Once the last haunted finally drops, the area is clear, and Kidman is safe.
Kidman, it's me.
If you hadn't come along.
Unfortunately, the reunion doesn't last very long. A group of haunted suddenly smashes through the door and charges straight inside. Taking them down isn't too difficult. I'm just a little annoyed by the bastard carrying the assault rifle. After every last one of them is dealt with, Sebastian finally gets a chance to talk with Kidman.
I'm so glad you're all right. Ever since the church,
You were at the church?
Yeah, Joseph and I. He's in bad shape, or at least he was when I last saw him.
What about the boy from the hospital? Leslie?
I found him in a cage. He freaked and ran, though.
In case you forgot, the last time we saw Kidman was back at the church. She left with Leslie and then completely disappeared. Now we finally caught up with her again. The only problem is, the game still hasn't explained how she ended up here in the first place. Sebastian tells Kidman that everything that's been happening lately feels completely wrong.
I think we've all been seeing strange things. Have you been having any nosebleeds, headaches?
No. Why?
Joseph was. It's like he was turning into one of those things.
Maybe it doesn't affect everybody.
Kidman figures whatever's causing all of this probably isn't affecting everyone the same way. But the moment we step into the next building, something really strange happens to Sebastian. A sharp pain hits his head, blood starts pouring from his nose, and when he catches his reflection in a glass, he sees himself turning into a haunted.
Not me.
At this point, it's pretty clear Sebastian is going through the same thing Joseph did a while back.
Stay back.
But then, when Sebastian finally wakes up, he's clearly disoriented, but he does his best to pull himself together. Since the last thing he remembers is getting shot by Kidman, he asks her the obvious question.
Did you shoot me?
Kidman admits she had no choice. According to her, Sebastian was about to eat her brain. But then she says something even stranger. She claims someone was trying to stop her, through Sebastian.
You might try to stop me through you.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Kidman's been acting suspicious from the very beginning. She always seems like she's hiding something, and whatever it is, she clearly doesn't want anyone getting in her way. Without another word, she walks off, leaving Sebastian locked behind. Every door is locked, leaving us trapped inside the room. But not long after, we hear someone trying to open one of the doors from the other side. Turns out, it's Leslie.
Ruvik?
Help!
Hey!
Sebastian throws his weight against the door until it finally bursts open. Our next objective is simple: find Leslie. The search leads us into a room filled with highly flammable gas. So maybe don't shoot anything. The problem is, this place is crawling with the clawed haunted, and these guys aren't the kind of enemies you can take down with a knife. So instead of fighting, we sneak past them. Unfortunately, the exit door needs a keycard. While searching for it, we end up finding a valve that shuts off the gas leak instead. Once the gas is gone, we finally wipe out all these bastards and find the keycard inside a container where two haunted are casually enjoying a meal. Sorry to interrupt dinner. We finally make it out, Across the next building, Sebastian spots Joseph running by himself. For a second, we think it's just another hallucination. After everything that's happened so far, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real anymore. So we hurry after him. And thankfully, this time, it's actually Joseph.
Thank God you're all right. How did you get here?
It wasn't easy. At least I haven't had any more episodes.
I wish I could say the same.
Hey, I think I might have found us some transportation.
We quickly get onto the bus Joseph found, but before we even get a chance to catch our breath, Kidman suddenly runs inside in a panic and immediately tries to start the bus.
What are you doing? Answer me.
The engine finally starts, and without wasting a second, Kidman slams on the gas. Turns out she had a good reason to panic, because the giant spider monster shows up and immediately chasing the bus. It doesn't take long before the monster crashes through the roof of the bus and starts attacking. This is where everyone has a job. Sebastian and Joseph focus on unloading everything they've got into the monster, while Kidman keeps driving the bus. But if you really pay attention, the bus barely seems to be moving. She's basically just AFK behind the wheel. We dump every last round we've got into its head. The non-stop gunfire finally brings the monster down, at least for now. Kidman floors it again, trying to get the bus as far away as possible. Unfortunately, the monster isn't dead after all. It gets back up and keeps chasing the bus until we finally reach a sharp turn.
Turn there! I don't know how long we'll be safe here.
Sebastian, they're above us!
Our job here is pretty simple. Kill every bastard blocking the road. The problem is, they just keep coming, so this fight goes on a lot longer than it looks.
That was a close one.
The explosion finally clears the road, and the bus gets moving again. But the peace doesn't last long. The giant spider monster drops down from above and lunges straight at the bus we're riding in. We keep unloading rounds into its head until it finally lets go of the bus.
Get this thing moving!
Kidman doesn't waste the opportunity and immediately floors it, putting as much distance between us and the monster as possible. Then this happens. Once things finally calm down, Joseph puts on his detective hat and starts laying out his theory. According to him, this world keeps changing like someone's controlling it. But there's one place that never changes: Beacon Mental Hospital. He also notices that every time we come across one of those bathtub machines, we end up getting closer to the hospital. Instead of letting this place keep dragging us around, Joseph suggests we head straight for the source of everything: Beacon Mental Hospital.
The right side looked like it led more directly toward the hospital.
Out of nowhere, a bullet suddenly tears into Joseph's stomach, throwing everyone into a panic.
Joseph, no! Just get us out of here.
There's an ambulance there. There might be some kind of first aid. I'll go.
No, I'll do it. Don't let any of them on board.
We jump off the bus to find medicine and save Joseph. Unfortunately, getting to the ambulance is anything but easy. A whole bunch of haunted keeps getting in our way, forcing us to put down every bastard that shows up before we finally reach the ambulance and grab the medicine. Getting back turns out to be even harder. A haunted armed with a machine gun opens fire on us from the top of a military vehicle. We're forced to stay behind cover while looking for an opening to fight back. Once we finally take him down,
We grab his machine gun and use it to mow down the dozens of bastards charging at us from every direction. Once the situation is finally under control, we make it back to the bus and patch Joseph up.
Shit.
Unfortunately, these bastards just keep coming. Realizing there's no way they can hold out much longer, Kidman slams on the gas and drives the bus straight through the horde. For a brief moment, we even get to take the wheel ourselves. Honestly, running over Haunted one after another is pretty satisfying. But of course, the fun doesn't last long. Ruvik shows up again and immediately ruins the moment. Sebastian wakes up in the middle of the collapsed building with Joseph, and the first thing on their minds is finding Kidman.
Kidman?
Sebastian figures she must have gone down with the bus, which is now lying upside down at the bottom of the building.
If you're down there, hang on. We're coming.
As we make our way through the wreckage, one thing immediately stands out. Even though the entire city has been torn apart, Beacon Mental Hospital is somehow still standing in the distance, completely untouched. It's like all the destruction just avoids that place.
Jesus. What could cause this much damage? Is that a subway sticking out of the ground?
Yeah, but look how it's positioned. If we can get over there, we might be able to use it to get across.
Let's just concentrate on getting out of here.
The way down is blocked by a stuck elevator, but the solution's simple enough. We shoot the support cable, Sebastian makes it down safely, and a second later the elevator comes crashing all the way to the bottom. That leaves Joseph stranded up there, forcing him to find another way around.
No, don't risk it. Hold on. I think I see another way down. I'll meet you on a lower level.
See you in about 3 chapters, Joseph. Now we're on our own, exploring what's left of the building. It doesn't take long before we spot the Keeper wandering through the halls, dragging his massive hammer behind him. Luckily, we don't have to fight him. We're just going to pretend we never saw him. The place is crawling with Haunted, and every now and then one of those fake Ruviks shows up too. Thankfully, these knockoff versions go down without much trouble. As we make our way to the lower floors, we run into a hallway lined with active landmines. That's usually a pretty good sign the Keeper's somewhere nearby, and since he just keeps respawning, wasting ammo on him isn't worth it. Sneaking past him is the smarter play.
Kidman! Are you in there?
When we reach the bloody door that normally leads to the safe haven, we hear someone laughing on the other side. Standing there is the mysterious man who's been showing up in the safe haven this whole time.
Haven't you figured it out yet? Oh, he loves tormenting others. Has to let them know he has the upper hand. Lays out the bait, gets his victim all worked up. His unholy traps.
According to him, everything that's happened is part of Ruvik's game. He lures people into chasing the truth, then traps them once they've gone too far to turn back. Come to think of it, that's exactly what's been happening to Sebastian this whole time. Leslie keeps showing up, only to disappear again without a trace. Ruvik keeps making sure we see him. And every time it feels like we're finally getting closer to the truth, this world changes all over again, dragging us into another nightmare.
When it was happening to me, I could see what was going on. I could see it! But I couldn't turn back. I had to know. I had to know the truth, and he knew it.
Suddenly, we're back in the safe haven. The place looks a lot more run down than before, although unfortunately there's nothing new for us to find here. So we leave and continue exploring. But as soon as we reach the kitchen, we see Joseph being chased by the keeper. Then, out of nowhere, Ruvik appears and turns to face us.
Oh God, now what?
The kitchen suddenly goes dark, and the whole place is filled with deadly traps. There's even a new kind of trap that looks like one of those robot cleaners. The only difference is, this one tries to kill you if you step on it. Luckily, dealing with them is easy. Just shoot them from a distance or hit them with a shock bolt to short them out. Technology versus technology. After making it through all the traps, we reach another hallway and run into Joseph and the keeper again. Unfortunately, Joseph gets away using the freight elevator, and with his target gone, the keeper turns his attention to us instead. Thanks you, Joseph. With his massive body and that giant safe for a head, he's once again the biggest threat in the room. Since the keeper can't truly die as long as there's another safe nearby, all we have to do is bring him down twice until the freight elevator starts working again. The second the doors open, we jump inside and keep moving. Our objective hasn't changed. Catch up with Joseph and find Kidman.
I'd better find Kidman.
A little while later, though, we spot Leslie and Kidman casually walking through the city like nothing ever happened.
I guess she's all right. What's she after?
Without wasting any time, we go after them. And then this happens.
Leslie can go home? Can take the train all the way home?
No, Leslie. Not today.
You'll protect me?
Yes. That's my job.
Good, good, good. When I get home, they'll be surprised.
It's not your fault. I'm sorry.
Stop.
You don't understand. You don't know what you'll become.
I do. I've seen it.
You don't understand what Ruvik is after.
So tell me, what is he after?
He's after Leslie.
What, he needs to finish his science project?
Don't patronize me. I have orders. I can't let him have this boy. Leslie is the only one he can...
We have no idea whether Joseph made it out alive or not. One thing's for sure, though. Sebastian wakes up alone in an abandoned underground subway station.
Joseph, you've got to be alive.
With no other choice, we start making our way through the tunnels, taking out a few haunted along the way, until we eventually reach the train tracks.
Gotta be a way to get up there somehow.
No matter what happens, we have to make our way back to the surface and confront Ruvik at Beacon Hospital. Not long after that, we come across a tunnel completely covered in spiderwebs. The only way through is to burn them. And judging by how every corner of this place is wrapped in webs, it's pretty obvious we're eventually going to meet this spider. This time, the area isn't overrun with haunted anymore. Instead, it's filled with alter egos, and they're way more annoying to deal with. We stop by the safe haven for a quick break, but even this place starts getting weirder than usual. The nurse is standing in front of the bulletin board. But when we walk over to take a look, there's a missing person poster with the nurse's face on it. The strange part is that she was literally standing right there just seconds ago. It's almost like the nurse herself has been a mystery this entire time. After leaving the safe haven, we end up in a flooded drainage tunnel. And that's where something unexpected happens. An alter ego suddenly gets dragged by a massive tentacle before disappearing. Guess something even worse lives down here. The path ahead is completely flooded, so we turn a valve to drain the water and clear the way. The deeper we go, the more this place starts feeling like some giant creature's nest. Nearly every wall is covered with pulsing organic tissue that's spread throughout the entire tunnel. Then it happens again. Another alter ego gets yanked into a huge pipe before it even has a chance to fight back, making it pretty clear that whatever lives down here hunts them too. Our progress comes to another stop when we find the next hallway blocked by high-voltage electricity. Luckily, there's an electrical panel at the end of the area. We pull the fuse out, and the current blocking the path finally shuts off. But the second things start looking safe, a giant tentacle suddenly grabs Sebastian's leg. Yep, definitely not a spider. For the first time, we finally get a good look at the creature that's been hiding down here. It looks like a massive octopus, with enormous tentacles that can reach out and grab its prey from long distances. Not long after that, we reach an elevator that's supposed to take us back to the surface. Unfortunately, there's no power. To get it running again, we have to use the fuse we found earlier and arrange it on the electrical panel until the circuit is complete. With the power restored, there's still one last thing left to do. Restart the main generator. Looks like Sebastian used to work as an electrician too.
Damn it, what am I, an electrician?
But the moment we start cranking the generator, the creature that's been hiding all this time finally shows itself. We finally come face to face with the monster. Besides its massive tentacles, it can blend into its surroundings like a chameleon. As intimidating as it looks, though, this boss is actually pretty manageable. A shock bolt will stun it long enough to land a few magnum shots, while freeze bolts work just as well by locking it in place for a few seconds. After we bring it down, the creature's body dissolves into floating droplets of blood before drifting away towards somewhere else. Just like the previous bosses, it's probably being pulled back to Ruvik. With the generator finally running, the elevator comes back online. We ride it to the surface and step straight into a raging thunderstorm. To reach Beacon Hospital, we have to make our way across a long line of train cars. But the closer we get, the more Ruvik starts interfering. Ruvik appears once again and shakes the entire train with his power. Sebastian keeps running and jumps forward, but instead of landing on the train, he passes straight through a wall and suddenly finds himself inside a hallway in Beacon Hospital. At the end of the hallway, we're shown another one of Ruvik's memories. This time, he accuses Jimenez of publishing his research under his own name. This is where it becomes clear that Jimenez really did betray Ruvik.
You published my research in your name again. Did you think I wouldn't find out?
And I have done you a favor. You have no credentials. You'd never appear in a reputable journal otherwise. Nobody in the world knows you even exist.
Oh, but they will know. I have surpassed you in every way you can imagine. No matter. I have what I need. All that's left is the procedure.
Indeed. That is why we are here.
We? You wouldn't dare. You couldn't complete it without me.
Precisely.
Precisely. 'Cause 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 'cause
feel sorry for you?
And it happens again. Several haunted are connected to the bathtubs. We stun them, pull the cables out of their heads, and then... Sebastian slowly regains consciousness. And the first thing we see is Kidman standing over him, quietly watching. This place looks just like the real world Jimenez briefly showed us during Leslie's experiment. But the moment Kidman walks away, something isn't right. Sebastian suddenly raises his pistol and points it straight at us. Turns out it was just another dream. Sebastian is back in the safe haven, except this time the place is completely empty.
Nobody here at all?
A few moments later, that strange wave rolls through again.
Ruvik?
The wave is coming from Leslie. At the end of the hallway, he's curled up on the floor like he's terrified of something. So, for the 100th time, we're following Leslie again. This time, though, it actually feels like he's trying to lead us somewhere.
All right, kid, where are you taking me?
But the second we get close, the entire room starts shaking violently.
This way.
When we come down.
This way. Sebastian!
Sebastian wakes up once again, this time in the middle of a collapsed street, right outside Beacon Mental Hospital.
Beacon, just like Joseph said.
We head straight for the hospital. Along the way, Leslie keeps appearing, then disappearing again before we can reach him. Eventually, we make it inside and find bodies scattered across the floor, just like we saw at the very beginning of the game.
I knew it.
We keep moving until we reach the underground sewer. Leslie is already waiting for us, but the second we get close, Sebastian gets pulled somewhere else again. At this point, we're starting to think Leslie might have powers similar to Ruvik's, or maybe Ruvik has been controlling him this whole time. A little farther in, we come across a massive steel door marked with a 3-star symbol. That symbol belongs to Mobius, the mysterious organization that basically fills the same role Umbrella does in Resident Evil. They funded Jimenez's research and the operation to capture Ruvik, but in the end, they took everything from him: his research, the STEM technology, and even his own body. Ruvik was the one who created STEM, a system that links multiple human minds into a single artificial world. That world is shaped by the minds of everyone connected to it. But because Ruvik's brain became the core of the system, he ended up with control over almost everything inside it. Ironically, the invention he created became his own prison, while Mobius turned it into a tool for their own agenda. By this point, Ruvik no longer has a physical body. Only his consciousness is still alive inside STEM. That's why he's been chasing Leslie this entire time. Leslie is the only patient who survived after being connected to Ruvik's mind, making him the only compatible host. By taking over Leslie's body, Ruvik hopes to escape STEM and finally return to the real world. We keep following Leslie until we finally make it to the courtyard outside Beacon Mental Hospital.
Leslie?
We follow him inside and end up in a hallway lined with prison cells. One of the patients we've kept running into at the safe haven suddenly warns Sebastian not to look into Ruvik's eyes.
If you want to live, you avoid Ruvik's eye. Watch out for his eye.
What's that supposed to mean?
You'll see.
guy isn't an enemy, by the way. He's been showing up every now and then, dropping little pieces of information that slowly help us understand what's actually going on.
Poor guy. Rest in peace.
We keep moving until we witness Ruvik slaughtering a group of security guards. Then it hits us. This is the exact same massacre we watched on the security cameras at the very beginning of the game. At this point, it's pretty obvious we're getting close to the final battle. We're still outside Beacon Hospital, but Ruvik has completely twisted the place into something straight out of hell. Giant eyes cover the walls, watching us from every direction. The game just keeps throwing waves of haunted at us, forcing us to burn through a ton of ammo. And just when things are already getting messy, the fake Ruviks start showing up too. Once the fight finally starts slowing down, a sadist carrying a rocket launcher joins the party. A few sniper shots knock him down, but of course he gets right back up and pulls out his chainsaw. So we dump everything we've got into him until he finally stays dead. Once the area is clear, we head toward the main entrance of Beacon Hospital. The second we step inside, we're greeted by a room packed with traps. That's usually a pretty good sign a boss fight is coming, so we take a minute to disarm as many traps as we can before moving on. At the far end of the room, we can see 2 safes. And yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Sure enough, we end up fighting 2 keepers at the same time. The whole fight instantly reminded me of Silent Hill 2, where James has to face 2 pyramid heads before he can finally save Maria. We set a few explosive traps on the floor to blow them apart, then follow it up with a shock bolt to lock them in place. Once they're stunned, we finish them off with the Magnum. After both of them go down, a door opens, and we think we're finally going to fight Ruvik.
Ruvik.
I created this world. You cannot keep me here.
But it turns out there's a long path packed with traps and searchlights up ahead. We have to make it through without getting spotted. We fail a few times, but after memorizing the pattern of every trap, we finally make it across. We're back outside Beacon Hospital. We step into the elevator and ride it all the way to the top floor.
If I make it out alive, I'm never riding in an elevator again.
At the top, Sebastian finally sees his real body lying inside a bathtub, connected directly to the stem machine.
It can't be.
Sebastian, get away from him. Sebastian, listen to me. Stop. Your interests are the same as ours.
Look, I get it. You're not just some rookie detective, and this is not just some ordinary kid. You killed Joseph and you shot me. So right at this moment, that's enough reason for me not to trust you.
You're a good man. That's why It doesn't matter anymore. If you know who this kid is, if you know anything, you know why he can't be allowed to live.
Bullshit. It's Ruvik. He's the one that...
This is where everything finally starts to make sense. Ruvik takes control of Leslie, then melts his body into Stem. Within seconds, the entire world around them begins to warp as Ruvik's power reaches its peak. Sebastian runs for his life, dodging Ruvik's giant claws until we finally make it back inside the building. But the chase isn't over yet. We keep running as Ruvik tears the place apart around us, until Sebastian gets thrown through the air and lands on top of a tactical vehicle with a mounted machine gun. We use the machine gun to tear through Ruvik's massive tentacles. The attack keeps going until the monster finally loses it and hurls the entire vehicle across the room. Luckily, Sebastian catches one last break. Right beside him is the sadist's corpse, still holding a rocket launcher. We grab it and unload rocket after rocket into the giant brain until the monster's body finally starts falling apart. With the last bit of strength he has left, Sebastian delivers one final shot to end it all. Sebastian slowly wakes up and pulls the cables out of his head. Still barely able to stand, he makes his way over to the stem machine and stomps Ruvik's brain with his shoe.
I created this world. You cannot keep me here.
Ruvik. I'm going to finish this.
We're finally back in the real world. Kidman is standing beside Sebastian, using one of the nearby computers. From what we see here, it's safe to assume she's the one who pulled Sebastian out of STEM and brought him back to reality.
Leave that one. And those two. They're not going anywhere. No one can.
For a brief moment, we see the bathtub labeled as Leslie, but it's empty, which can only mean one thing. Leslie made it out too.
Go, go, go! Detective, are you all right? Is there anyone else?
Just give me some real fresh air.
At the very end of the game, we see Leslie casually walking away. But here's the big question. Is that really Leslie? Or is it Ruvik, now living inside Leslie's body? We'll get the answer in The Evil Within 2. And that's the end of our journey through The Evil Within. In The Evil Within 2, it's confirmed that Sebastian really did escape STEM, meaning the ending we just witnessed actually takes place in the real world. There is also a DLC that follows Kidman's side of the story and explains how she eventually manages to free Sebastian from STEM. But for this video, I wanted to focus on the main story first, because that alone already took a lot to cover. This video took about a month to make. If you enjoyed it and want to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee using the QR code on the screen. It'll definitely help fuel a few more late nights working on videos like this. And if there's a game you'd like to see covered next, let me know in the comments. And your pick might end up being the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Midnight, and I'll see you in the next video.